So I spent the last couple of days, not couple of days, a couple hours figuring out how this condenser dryer washer works. So I thought I would share everything with you, so that if you have one of these, you can figure out how it works. So pretty quick and simple. Concrete block. This is the outside drum. Right here you can see this fan spinning. This is the heating element. Here's two thermal switches. According to a parts diagram I found, one is 141 degrees Celsius and one is 110 degrees Celsius. Not quite sure why. In fact, I kind of wonder if one of them is used normally, 110 degrees Celsius, the other one's like an emergency in case the 110 fuse is open. I don't know. Anyways, there's this thing here you can't quite see. I believe that's a temperature sensor, don't know. Here you have a pressure sensor, and interestingly enough, this is supposedly used to tell the depth of the water in the drum. So you'll see the air gets heated here. You can see the terminals for the heating element there and there. Then it comes down and it flows inside where the clothes are through this and then through the vent. So the gasket actually is where this attaches, the main drum gasket. So look at the water distribution. It's hard to see, but there's 4 valves. You can see there's one here, see one there, and then if you look way down here, there's one more back there. So this is the condenser water source hose. The way you can tell that is that it's cold while this thing is drying. So water slowly flowing through here, down into the condenser, which I believe is this bulge on the side of the drum. You can't really see it too well. And get it in frame. Yeah, you can't see it very well. Maybe that little pump there. I don't know. But the air seems to flow through that stuff right there, up into the fan housing, through the heater, and then back in. So my guess is that's where the condenser is. That's also where the condenser cooling line hose goes. Then down here we have the control module. It's powered by a pretty elementary processor with the program. So it's actually a really simple control board. There's actually a serial TX and RX on that chip. So it'd be interesting, although I don't really have any plans to do it, to connect the serial port up to a FTDI device and see what it says while it's running. And my guess is, like any good engineer, the engineers that created this put some debug output in, but who knows, maybe they took it all out before they built the final ROM. So in these other 3 valves, so the water comes through here, there's channels, to then come out here, which is the soap dispenser. So if they want to run the pre-wash, then they open one valve. If they want to run the detergent, they can open another, and the softener, they open a different one. And then the water will flow through here down into these. And somehow the hot water valve comes into effect too. Don't know how, honestly, but this one here appears to be the hot water valve because it's the one that's connected to the hot water. Yeah, so that's really it. I mean, it seems complicated, but it's actually fairly simple. Just a lot of, inputs. So switches that tell the CPU to do something, just simple on-off stuff. 2 potentiometers here, one for water temperature and one for dry time. I'm not actually sure they're potentiometers, because if they're potentiometers, I thought they'd have 3 wires going to them, so you get a voltage divider, but I'm not that great of an electronics expert, so I don't know. Simple motor with switch for the control timer. I think there's another sensor here. I'm wondering if this is like water temperature sensor or something. I don't know. Then you have the motor, pretty simple, and then again the control board. So I believe what was wrong with ours is that the check valve in the pump stopped working. So I went to Home Depot and cobbled together this crappy check valve out of some cheap parts just to see if it works. Because previously when the pump would run, you could hear water swishing back and forth and back and forth. And if there's too much water, then the air that's forced out, or the water that's forced out of the clothes into the air by the heating element won't condense. Or it'll get so full of water that the clothes will actually be tumbling in water, which is no good. So anyways, I was super surprised. This thing is way simpler than I thought. What's really nice is there's all these discrete components that do one thing and one thing only. So if somebody had one of these and the board went bad, somebody with a little bit of Arduino experience or something could probably build a replacement control board or replace any of the parts in here with other off-the-shelf components. Not complete. There are some specialty parts, like this air vent molding. Sure, a machinist could build you one, but it's probably not worth the cost. The door gasket, hopefully that never breaks, and if it does, hopefully it's repairable. This is the concrete weight. So, anyways, I was mildly surprised, and I hope this thing lasts a long time, and I don't have to do anything to it, but it's good to know that I can.